Good morning, everyone. I am your host, the Magic Jellybean, the one and only Magic Jellybean you'll see and witness in this lifetime. I have a simple video for simple people. 5, or I guess I should say 6 things that I don't like about my Nissan Altima Coupe. Some disclaimers up front before you like and subscribe. I know you want to. This is not really about all Nissan Altimas. This is more about my Nissan Altima in general. You know, peep the title, things I dislike about my Nissan Altima. But generally speaking, this might apply to most Altimas anyway. So with that ado, let's begin the video. Got a new audio recording setup. Hope it's not too bad. So, this is gonna be brief. I don't want to make this a 20-minute video like last time. One thing that I dislike about this amazing sounding V6 of an engine is actually the engine itself. Now, I know last video I was talking about how the torque of this engine is the holy grail, but what I dislike specifically about this engine is that it has a lot less potential when you compare it to other engines. This is the VQ35DE that they put in the Altimas, and I believe they put them in the second gens, the 2011s and 2012s or 2010s. The thing is though, for example, at some point the 350 and the 370Z, they got the updated engine, which was the VQ35HR, which I think stands for high revving. But basically, about 80% of the internals of the stock VQ35DE, they actually got upgraded and they got stronger. So the HR engines are 80% stronger than the DEs, meaning you can do roughly, I guess, 80%. I'm not a physicist. You can do roughly 80%, you know, more boost, and you get more out of the car. And that's not really anything to complain about, really, because, you know, if you can stick a supercharger on this car like I am going to, a supercharger is still better than nothing. And you probably aren't missing out on much, you know, the gap between engines. The only thing is that if you want more boost, you have to start rebuilding this engine with stronger internals sooner than, say, like a Nissan or maybe a Genesis Coupe, the Lambda V2 engine or whatever it's called. So that's one thing I dislike about the Altima, is that the engine just doesn't have a lot of potential. But then again, when you have this much torque, it really doesn't matter. So my second thing that I dislike about this Nissan Altima, and this is kind of more specific to my car, is that I don't really like the roof, and I don't like the inside roof up here, and I don't really like the exterior roof either, because my exterior roof is peeling, because I live in Florida. And guess what? When you live in Florida, the heat will bake your car to death. And also the interior of the Altimas, it's like this brown, and I'm just not a fan of brown. It boils down to that. So the next thing I don't like about my Nissan Altima, my third point, is the fact that it's forward-wheel drive. Yes, you know, I believe one of the reasons the Nissan Altima Coupe failed, and the reason why it couldn't really even compete well with, say, the Honda Civic, is not because it wasn't a unique car. Like I said in my last video, it's the only car that the coupe version got its own body paneling and kind of its own frame, whereas other cars like BMWs and Honda, they all just use the same frame as a sedan, and they just retrofit 2 doors on it. Even though it was unique in that aspect, when you have the Nissan Altima Coupe and then you look at the 350Z and the 370Z, and like I said, when you compare apples to apples in terms of what you want out of like a sports car daily commuter, aside from the 4 seats in the back and, you know, a little bit more love in the trunk, you don't really get a whole lot compared, you know, to a 350 or a 370, which is around the same price. So performance-wise, there's no reason to pick this car, and it's not even rear-wheel drive. If this car was rear-wheel drive, I would dare to say, and I don't really want to blame it on the CVT, even though I kind of am, you know, the manual versions would be kind of up to par with the 350, or if anything, it'd be up to par with the Honda Genesis Coupes, the 2 liters or the 3.8 liters. But it being rear-wheel drive, you know, the fact that I can't, you know, do some burnout or donuts whenever I want, because, you know, you got a whole bunch of understeer, it just kind of sucks. And I'm not gonna lie, it does suck knowing I'm driving a forward-wheel drive car. Now, that doesn't take away from the experience of still driving this car and having all that massive torque. Like I said, like basically at 2,000 RPMs, like this car launches in first gear. Launches, and it's fun. And it being four-wheel drive actually helps because you have a lot of weight in front. So the way they built the car, it all works together very well. But if you want a rear-wheel drive car with this kind of performance, you know, at that low of RPMs, it just, you know, you don't get it. You don't get it. So yeah, that's a bummer. That's really, like, if I could change one thing about this car over anything, and I mean absolutely anything, I would definitely make this a rear-wheel drive car. I would rather have rear-wheel drive than have the Nissan 350Z engine, the VQ35 HR. I'd rather have rear-wheel drive than have a stronger engine. Because you can do hoony stuff with it, man. I mean, who doesn't want to do that? That's what you buy Miatas for. And my next point here, one thing that I don't personally like about the Altima Coupes is I cannot stand the parking lights. And I don't mean the parking lights itself, but the parking light housing. I don't know if it's different for the second generations, but the 2008 and 2009 models, whether you have the 4-cylinder or the 6-cylinder, the headlight housing, which I think is the same or identical to the sedan counterparts, the parking light housing is orange, and it drives me nuts. Because if you want to have, you know, cool white parking lights, it still comes out looking orange. And it just, for me, it ruins it. Because I run red bulbs, but that's only because I know it's orange. But if I didn't have orange parking lights, I'd definitely be running white bulbs. And that's a simple fix, honestly. You can just go online and get like a custom, you know, get a custom 300, 400 bucks, depending on where you find it from. Custom headlights. None of them have orange parking light housing. It's not an issue, but that's one thing I don't like about this car from the factory, is I really don't like the orange headlights. And that was just, to me, aside from the drivetrain, that's probably the worst decision. It's the little things that drive me crazy. The last things that I do not like about my Nissan Altima Coupe is the dashboard. And anybody that owns a coupe already knows, for some reason, whatever material Nissan used for the coupes, the dashboard, it was terrible. It might work in like 40 states, but in those hot states, states like Florida, Texas, California, hold on. Florida, Texas, California, I'm telling you, if you don't have a rug, it's gonna get so sticky, it's gonna get so hot, and it kind of, you know, it makes the car undesirable in a way. Even though having a matte, you know, a dashboard cover does look better, it's like the fact that I have to go out my way to buy a dashboard cover because of manufacturing defect, you know, not so hot. But those were 6 things that I don't like about my Nissan Altima. I do hope I kept it short, sweet, and to the point. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do all the things that YouTube creators always ask you to do. And I hope you enjoyed this Nissan Altima Coupe video. I don't make a lot of them, but I do intend to make more. You're gonna be excited for what comes next. Just a little hint, you know. But guys, have an awesome day, and until the next time, I'll see you later.